What's going on, yo? It's TCG here, back again after a little bit of a break. That's right, I had a break at the end of the year just to celebrate the holidays and spend some time with family and friends and think about content creation a little bit more, try to get back into it a little bit more and provide you all some awesome content moving into 2024. Was putting out quite a few videos constantly for weeks, and I'm ready to keep doing that. Don't worry, we have the content coming, but I want to make higher quality, better content, and I'm going to start off with a new tier list. This is going to be a OP05 metagame tier list. We're going to be ranking all the leaders. If you haven't seen one of these before, I have multiple tiers here that we're going to be going off of. We did them for OP03, OP04, OP04.5, and of course we got to touch on OP05 because it is one of, if not the best set to come out for the One Piece card game so far, and in my opinion, the most exciting. And in addition to the OP05 leaders, we also have the ST10 3 captains leaders on here. So yeah, we're going to be talking about those, and we also even have the special blue Luffy promo. So whole bunch of new leaders to rank. There's a ton of new cards out for a lot of different colors that really help boost them up to a place they haven't been before, and I think that this format is very exciting. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about these tiers that we have here before we get into actually ranking them. So tier 1, we have, these are going to be the top dogs. These are going to be the ones that are most represented at tournaments and the ones that are winning the most at tournaments, in my opinion. You're going to see these winning your locals a lot, winning regionals, treasure cups, and we're going to probably see one of these decks taking down nationals this upcoming January. So be on the lookout for these decks and how you can play your deck most efficiently to counter or combat these decks and what cards they play. Next, we have tier 2. You're also going to be seeing a lot of these at your locals, regionals, and treasure cups. They are not as strong as tier 1, but they are definitely very, very high competitive players in the game. So be on the lookout for those as well, because you will need a game plan against most of those decks as well. Next, we're going to have Rogue. Rogue is going to be decks that are a little bit more fun and can definitely take down a tournament or a big event if people aren't prepared to play against it or don't know how to play against it. So definitely still good decks, you know. Rogue, it's always a great option and usually a little bit more budget friendly or more fun to play than your typical meta deck. Next, we have Scrub. Scrub is just the decks that you're not going to see too much. You know, these are going to be kind of more your fun deck to take the locals, scrub out, and you probably won't win your locals or get close in a regionals playing this. More just for a fun deck, and yeah. Not the most competitive, but still definitely an option you could play. And then we have Don't Play This, decks that I think that you probably should just stay away from that leader because there's either something better or it is not good. So with that out of the way, I do want to say before we hop into this, I want to shout out Dueling Guard. If you haven't heard of Dueling Guard is the best TCG accessory company on the market. They make high quality deck boxes, binders, and playmats for all your TCG accessory needs. And if you haven't checked them out before, definitely do yourself a favor. Go check out the link in my description and use code GUMGUMTCG for a discount at checkout. What? You haven't heard of Dueling Guard? Dueling Guard is the best TCG accessory company on the market. They have high quality deck boxes, binders, and playmats made for people who enjoy playing and collecting trading card games in style. They have tons of designs based off of fan favorite animes such as One Piece, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, and many more. They hit the ground running earlier this year, making high quality TCG accessories with beautiful designs that have sold out many times. So if you haven't picked up any of their products, make sure to do so before they sell out again. I have a few deck boxes and playmats from them already and can attest to how they don't cut any corners when it comes to quality, performance, and design. I highly recommend their products and use them every time I play cards. Be sure to check the description below for a link to their site and use code GUMGUMTCG for a discount at checkout. Alright y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this, and we are starting off hot with OP01 leaders, Roanoa Zoro. Where do I think Zoro stands currently? I'm going to put him in tier 2. You know, Zoro has been a tier 1 competitor for a very long time in this game, and I still think that Zoro is a very strong deck. It's very fast paced, and certain decks can't keep up with that, like Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy hates getting rushed down, and it can really ruin their day. Same with Sakazuki. Sakazuki cannot stand it when you beat them down very, very fast and play your Diable Jambes, which I know a lot of the red decks are starting to play to combat Sakazuki in their blocker field. So yeah, Zoro, I'm going to put in high tier 2. I think it's definitely a very competitive option if you've been a fan of Zoro before. After since we have all the cards back now off the ban list, definitely recommend playing him again. He's very competitive. And right next to him, I'm going to be putting Law. I believe that Law is high tier 2, if not low tier 1. I think that this deck is still just slept on. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Law, his leader effect, it feels like something that would have came out a year and a half into the game. Like, it is such a strong and complex leader effect, and the color combo is so strong that it feels way too strong and way ahead of its time compared to some of the other leader effects that we had around the time of OP01 on its release. So Law has always been a crazy strong deck, and I foresee that being the case for a very, very long time. Very strong leader effect, very strong color pool, and yeah, it's hard to beat sometimes. Next we have its not so strong same typing counterpart, and that's going to be Monkey D. Luffy Red Green leader. I think that this is a rogue deck. I don't think it's the best. I think that the leader just needs a little bit more support, and I believe we're going to be getting that support in the Extra Booster Memorial Collection that comes out in May, I believe. There's some Supernova cards that have been revealed that look pretty dang good so far, so hopefully you Red Green Luffy fans will have something better here soon. Next we have Kazuki Odin, and I'm also going to put him right there in Rogue. You know, I think this is a very fun deck. You have certain cards that really only work in this deck, like Kinemon and Denjiro, and those cards are really fun, but if we're talking about future, like, there's another Odin leader coming out that's red-green, and it just shits on everything. That leader is absurdly powerful and is exponentially better than this Odin leader. So if you like the way that Odin plays and some of the cards that you can play in that deck, definitely be on the lookout for that leader, because it's going to be way better than a rogue deck on release. Next we have Don Quixote do Flamingo, and Blue Dofi. I'm going to put him at the back end of tier 2. You know, Blue Dofi's always been a strong competitor. We have a lot of strong leaders from set 1, and Blue Dofi's definitely one of them. I don't think that he's top end of tier 2, but he's definitely floating near the end of it. You know, he's very strong, very consistent, and can do a lot of work. And I believe that moving into set 6, he's going to be a lot better. But in set 5, I think that middle, low end of tier 2 is about where he's going to be sitting. Next we got Blue Kaido, and I'm also going to put this in Rogue. I'm going to put it over these other guys, because Blue Purple Kaido, in my opinion, is very cool, very strong, very fun deck to play, and it has a lot of resources now that people just aren't taking advantage of, and if they are, it's just not strong enough, you know? Like, the Dawn ramp is very good, but we have that built in on a leader now through the Purple Luffy leader, and you have to find Island for the ramp for Purple Kaido, and that kind of just hurts. I know we have a searcher, and we even have Ulti as another searcher to help you try and find it faster, but if you don't find it on your first or second turn, you're usually on an uphill battle, and it's just not too fun. But there are a lot of cool cards for this. You have all the 3 10-drop Kaidos, and all those cards are very strong. A bunch of the Animal Kingdom Pirates cards are strong, and I think this leader has potential, but we just need a couple more stronger cards, you know, maybe a couple more ramp tools, I think would get it there. Next we have Blue Purple Croc, and I mean, it's kind of the same thing for him. I'm going to put him right there too, just because I feel that he needs a couple more cards. I feel that the Baroque Work cards that have been released so far are just lackluster, man. Like, the Animal Kingdom cards are way better than the Baroque Works cards, but I feel that Crocodile has a better leader effect than Kaido, so I always kind of have these guys tied. And until we get better Baroque Works cards, I don't see Crocodile leader, at least this Crocodile leader, doing any better than it currently is. Next we have King, and for all you King fans, I'm going to put him at the back end of Rogue, because Purple did get a lot of support this set, and that goes for these decks as well. But I just still think that Purple Kaido is better, and if you're wanting to play Purple, just mono purple at all, you should just play purple Luffy. That's the best leader for purple right now. And yeah, I don't think King is it. I've always put him in the don't play this, but I know a lot of people have been testing him out and we're liking him a lot last set. So for all you King fans, I'm going to put him at the back end of Rogue. Next, we have Edward Newgate, and I'm going to put this high tier 2 as well, because Edward Newgate's very strong. I feel that it just can't keep up with some of these newer decks, you know, like Purple Luffy's very strong, Sakazuki's very strong, and I don't think that Edward Newgate can keep up with that. However, it does have all its cards back, so it is still a threat, and there are a lot of skilled players out there that like to play Edward Newgate, so I'm not counting him out of the fight yet. I'm going to put him at the high end of tier 2. Next, we have Red Black Garp. And I feel that this color combo is just kind of not it, you know? We even see it in the new Sabo leader. Like, red-black just doesn't have much synergy together, and that's unfortunate because I think that Garp has a very strong leader effect. It just doesn't have the right cards to utilize that leader effect yet. And could definitely still be fun to play, but I do think that Sabo's the better leader of the two, and hopefully we'll get more better synergy between these colors in the future so that Garp is a little bit more playable, but for now I think that he's a scrub. Next we got Kinemon, and I'm going to put this in Rogue as well. I think I want to put him right above Luffy. I think that Kinemon's very strong. You know, green Dofi cards are pretty good and you can play those in there. Some of the Wano cards are still really strong, but I just don't think it's green time right now, you know, and if it is, then it's going to be OP06 or in the EB set when we could play the Odin or the Yamato leaders. I think those are better green Wano leaders than Kinemon and Odin. So for now, Kinemon stays in Rogue for me. Next we got Sanji, and I'm also going to put Sanji in Rogue. I'm going to put him... I don't know, I'm going to put him right next to Kinemon because I think that Sanji's pretty cool. I think that the leader effect is decent, and we have another card for him now in John Giant, which is pretty good. You know, actually, I don't even know if that triggers his leader effect or not. I can't recall, but Blue did get a handful of good new cards this set. One of them being the 10-drop Draw Kaido that just draws 4 cards. And that card's insanely powerful if you play it on curve in a deck that can really utilize your Dawn management. And I think that Sanji has the ability to do that. Speaking of Dawn management, or I guess hand management, we have Ivankov next. And I'm going to put Ivankov in Rogue as well. I think I would have put him above Odin. Ivankov's very cool. And like I said, we got some more cool blue tools for OP05, and I think Ivankov can take advantage of a couple of those, and yeah, hopefully it'll get better eventually, because I do think that the blue Impel Down cards are really strong in a vacuum. You know, I think that they just need a little bit extra push and maybe a different leader, because this leader effect isn't great, but we do get more support in the extra booster set. So I know I keep mentioning that, but it's really got me excited that they're giving new support to past leaders instead of just dumping it all into archetypal locked color leaders that you can't play the colors in like any other leader, you know, or the cards in any other leader. And yeah, I really like that. Next, we got Magellan, and I'm going to put Magellan right up here too, above Dofi in tier 2. I think that Magellan's really strong. Purple is a very strong color right now, and Magellan can really take advantage of a lot of the new purple cards really well. Specifically 7-drop Kid. That card's insanely powerful, and when you mix it with Magellan, it makes your leader 7k on play and attack, and it stays 6k during your opponent's turn. Very strong. I do believe we get more cards for Magellan down the line as well, so excited to see what they give that and what kind of support that can give. But for now, I'm going to leave him in tier 2. One that I'm not going to put in tier 2 or Rogue is going to be Zephyr, Z, whatever you want to call him. I don't know if I want to put him in Scrub, actually. I think I do. You know, I feel that Zephyr relies very heavily on 10-drop Kuzan or another card that does a similar thing to that. And without that, then the leader effect is just way too hard to pull off, or it's too costly. And for that reason, I don't like this leader that much. I've never really been a big fan of it. You know, it's cool when you do pop off, but if you're only popping off 1 out of every 3 games, is it really that cool? Next, we got Smoker. Speaking of popping off, I'm going to put Smoker in Rogue as well. Actually, I I don't know. I kind of feel tier 2-ish because black got a lot of really good new support cards. Huh. For now, let's put him at the back end of tier 2 because I do think that black has a lot of new good support cards that Smoker can take advantage of. A couple Navy cards, Rob Lucci, Rebecca, that kind of thing. I think that they're very strong, and Smoker's always been one of my favorite leaders, so I'm going to stick him back at the end of tier 2 there. Next we have Ace, and I also kind of want to put him up here next to Zoro. I think the Ace is very strong. It's a deck that doesn't rely on characters on the field, which is something that Sakazuki takes advantage over, and not putting those characters on fields makes Ace a little bit more of a threat. You know, they don't really have a reason to play that Rob Lucci in their hand other than to play a beater or to pop your one searcher. And now that we have Newgate and stuff back, we didn't really have that when Ace came out, so now Ace can play those cards and get super defensive and then super aggressive on the turns that it needs to be. So I do think Ace has a home in the tier 2 row. Next we have Kuro, and I think that this is also going to be Rogue, but I kind of want to stick him. Yeah, I'm going to put him above Kinemon. I don't know. I kind of like him more than some of these other leaders. I think that Kuro's really cool and has some good support and can really catch people off guard at the right time. But I just don't think he's there yet, you know. There's not enough good green, east, blue cards yet. And that's the same is going to go for Arlong, you know. I kind of want to put him at the end of Rogue. Yeah, I think he's going to go right there with King. Like, I think Arlong's cool. The mechanic is cool, but when you compare it to something like Dofi or the Black Gecko Moria leader coming out of OP06, those feed off of advantage from other places. Arlong feeds off of gaining advantage from your hand, and it's not really advantage when you're going down a card. I guess it's playing a card for free, but in my opinion, when you play it off the top of your deck for free or from your trash for free, instead of losing an extra card out of hand, you're gaining an extra card off of your deck or your trash, and that's a lot more impactful than playing one from hand. Also, being locked to playing only triggers from your hand is kind of limiting. Honestly, I don't like Arlong that much for that reason, but there are a bunch of cool cards you can play in Arlong. Next we have Nami, and this might be a shocker, but I'm going to put Nami up here in tier 2. I think that maybe even above Magellan. I think that Nami in the right hands can really be a threat, and the only thing Nami's missing is Kabaji, which it doesn't need, but I think that Nami's a really good deck and could definitely catch some people off guard and steal a couple wins from people that don't know how to play against it. All right, next we have Iceberg, and to please all the Iceberg fans out there in the Iceberg Discord and the Iceberg Facebook groups and all the people that I see posting about Iceberg, I am going to put Iceberg in high rogue. I would put him in tier 2, but I just need to see it before I believe it. And we do have a lot of good purple cards now. They are very strong. Kid in this deck is insanely strong because then it makes all of your guys that you play off of Iceberg's effect free. You just get that Dawn back instantly, and that's insane. But I felt that in my opinion, I felt that Iceberg lacks the advantage engine that it really needs, and maybe that's where cards like Queen and a couple other things come in handy. But I felt that you just lose hand advantage by playing maybe 2 bodies, 3 bodies a turn in that deck, not having too many searchers, stuff like that. I can't wait to be proved wrong by the max rarity Iceberg player at Nationals this year, and hopefully that they take down the whole tournament because that would be hilarious. I'm rooting for you, bro. Next we have Charlotte Katakuri, and this is going to be high tier 2. I would put him tier 1, but I want to keep him in tier 2. Top end, probably the best deck in tier 2 because of Yellow Big Mom. That card's insane. And Katakuri also got a handful of new good cards for from OP05. Some of the Sky Island stuff is really strong. You don't even really need to play it, but like El Thor, that's a really good counter event. And yeah, Yellow's just always been a really strong threat, and I think that Katakuri is one of the best leaders to do it. Next we have Charlotte Linlin, Black Yellow, and I'm also going to put this in Rogue. I kind of want to put it a little higher than some of these other guys, though. I kind of want to put it like, I don't know. I kind of want to put it at the top end. Yeah, because the healing aspect of this deck with the cost reduction and some of the newer black cards, just makes it very, very, very hard to kill. And that can really be the end of the line for some decks if they cannot kill you. And that's what this deck aims to take advantage of and aims to do. And I think that it does it decently. You know, I'm going to put it at the top end of Rogue. Next we have Vivi, and this is going to go into Scrub. I just don't think that Vivi's good. Red-blue doesn't have very much synergy together. The leader effect just kind of limits you, in my opinion. Like, it's a cool leader effect. You do get a draw, and you do get to give something rush. You can get the draw even without giving something rush. But I just feel that it's just not strong enough yet. I feel that there's just better leaders you can play instead of this that can attack. You know, if you want to play the red cards, play Zora. If you want to play the blue cards, play something like Croc or Dofi or something like that. But not everything has to have rush to win. Next we have green purple Dofi, and I'm also going to put this, I'm going to put this right next to blue Dofi. I think that green purple Dofi is very strong. Got some cool new green cards in set 5 that go well in its deck and archetype. Birdcage being one of them that I haven't really been seeing take advantage of yet. I think that Birdcage is insanely strong, and yeah, I think that a lot of people are just scared to keep playing the film stuff when it's a great option. I think that film build is really strong. You could even play Birdcage in there. I know that it could kill your own stuff, but I don't know. I think that there's a little bit more that people can do with this deck, and they're just playing around with the new cards instead of testing out this leader that was insanely strong in set 4. Next we have Isho, and this is going to go in the back end of Rogue right there next to Arlong. Maybe above Arlong. Maybe above some of these other guys too, actually. Yeah, maybe like right here. I think that the color combo is really good, but we get a new green-black leader in set 6 that just does it better, and that's Perona. But I do think that Isho is a very fun deck to play. I played it at the end of OP04 format just for a little bit, just to have some fun, and yeah, there's some cool stuff you can do with it. I don't think it's great, though, but it is better than some other leaders. Rebecca is also going to go in Rogue, and I think it goes up above a couple of these other decks as well. It got a couple new tools, too, and I think that is still a super strong leader, but those leaders that can't attack, man, that's just their kind of their drawback, is it just kind of puts them below a lot of these other leaders just instantly. And I think Rebecca makes up for that with the advantage that it gains and some of the cards that it has access to. But I just feel like it needs a little bit more of a push to be a better leader. Alrighty, and then next we have Queen, and I mean, y'all notice we still don't have something in tier 1 yet, and that's because we're just waiting to get to some of these new leaders. Honestly, some of these new leaders are very, very strong, and I think that they're just taking the top dog spots. Queen, I am going to put here in tier 2. I do think that Queen's still a very strong deck. I think that Queen has the tools to be a very great deck. You know, it was my main I was mainly piloting Queen for OP04, took down a lot of locals, did decent in a treasure cup with it, and I just don't think that this is the format for Queen. You know, we have a lot of removal in Sakazuki, and we have a very strong leader that likes to live a very long time in Enel, and yeah, I just don't think that it's the format for Queen. Purple Luffy also feels a little too fast for Queen, but we also just didn't get too many good new cards for Queen in set 5. There's a handful of them. I do like the blue ulti. The blue X-Drake is very strong. I do like the thought of playing a Skypiea build with Rushanel and Ohm and Holy and stuff like that. The 10-drop draw Kaido is pretty cool, but you like to keep a low hand, so it's kind of strange support, you know. I just don't think that it's the format for it right now. Moving into set 6, that's a different story, but for now, Queen, still tier 2, still could take down a handful of other leaders for sure, but it definitely has a hard time against some of the top dogs. Next we have Purple Yellow Croc, and this is scrub out. I'm sorry. If this is your deck, I'm not trying to shit on you or anything, but like, it's just the Baroque Works cards, man. They need to make some of them better, and I feel like that's just where they flopped. A lot of the purple ones that we got in set 4 were just not strong enough, and The ones that were good were really good, but the rest of them were really bad. And not much we can really do about that, you know? I think that it has a really cool color combo, but the leader effect is not great. And this deck just kind of has its heal gimmick, you know? It tries to do what other decks can do better, like Queen or Big Mom or Enel, you know? Like every turn try and play Katakuri, Croc, or Yamato. And sure, you could say that's what Queen's doing, but like Queen, I can heal 2 life in one turn, whereas Croc can only heal once. And same with Big Mom. Like, they can heal and rip a life in one turn. Croc can only do 1 heal. I think that Croc just needs better cards. And whether that be new Baroque work cards or whatever, I don't know. I feel that this leader is just kind of outcasted and needs some better support. Next, we have Red Uta and Scrub. Yeah, I mean, it's a deck based on vanillas. How much better could it get with each set, you know? Like, I know there's some people out there that enjoy playing this deck, but I just don't see it being great. Next, we have Red Luffy, and I'm going to be putting this up here at the top end of Rogue. Actually, I mean, you can play the same cards that Zoro plays. I'm going to put it in tier 2. I think that it's good. It's just the leader effect isn't as strong as Zoro's. But some of the cards you have access to in here, like Diable Jambe, is really strong against specifically Sakazuki. And you could also play very fast-paced rush cards, which is very strong against Purple Luffy. And I think that that's where these red leaders have a chance in this meta. Next, we have Green Kid. And this will also go back in the back end of tier 2. Green Kid's very strong. Green cards have always been strong. Double attack leader, or not double attack leader, but attacking twice leader is very strong. But I just feel that there's some better options, you know. I don't think that the Dofi family stuff synergizes with it too well, but it definitely can be played. Blue Croc, definitely near the top end of tier 2. I'm going to put it right here. I think that Blue Croc got some amazing support in this set in the form of X-Drake, Draw Kaido, Borsalino, just kind of all the removal this leader wants and loves. So definitely very solid card, or very solid deck this format. Next we have Purple Kaido, and yeah, I mean, I'm going to put him right here with Magellan, and I think he's just a little better than Magellan. I like the leader effect a little bit more. That's just a personal opinion. You know, I guess it could go both ways. They're both very strong, but I do like the Animal Kingdom pirate cards a little better than I like the Impel Down cards, and I also like the Kaido leader effect better than I like the Magellan leader effect. Next we have Purple Shanks, and don't play this. This leader's not good. I'm still questioning why they ever printed it. It's just so film locked that you cannot play anything other than film cards, and it just feels bad. Next we have Sakazuki, and I want to put this in don't play this, but I'm just going to put it in scrub because there are some decent good black cards out there that can make this leader a little bit better, but there's a better Sakazuki leader than this one. So if you're going to play Sakazuki, it's not this leader. Next we have Charlotte Linlin, and I want to put this in tier 2 as well, maybe near the near Queen. You know, it has access to 10 drop Mom, which is just an insanely powerful card, but I think that Katakuri's leader effect is just a bit stronger than Linlin's, and that's where it gets beaten out. Next we have Black Luffy, and I guess I'm going to put this in Rogue near the top. You know, I just don't think that this leader effect is that strong, and maybe that's just me. I know that it did well in a Treasure Cup that I played in November. However, you don't see it topping often, and I don't think we are going to see it topping often. I do think it's a little better with the Rob Lucci. You get to put 2 dot on him, but I don't know. I just feel that there's better black leaders. Next we have Yellow Yamato, and I'm also going to put this in Rogue. Oops. I think I kind of want to put it down here with Odin. You know, I just don't think that the yellow Wano cards are there yet. We get some more in set 6 that I think are a little bit better and maybe can help push this leader a little farther. But there's just a better Yamato leader coming out there that I would rather play than this one. Next, we got the ST10 Ultimate Deck 3 Captains leaders, and these are really strong. One that I've personally been testing out has been the Red Purple Law deck. I know, all my homies hate red decks, but this deck has been kind of calling my name. I've been wanting to play it for a while, and I think that it's pretty good. I'm going to put him right next to Croc because I think that it's very strong. Has a decent Sakazuki matchup. If you see the right Rush cards, like if you see Rush Zoro, it's very strong against Purple Luffy, but it cannot beat Enel very well, and I feel like that's kind of a downfall of this leader. So very fun to play, very strong, very cool card pool, but almost a little limited in what you can do with it, and where you stay so low on Dawn, it's hard to play bigger bodies in this deck, so you can't deal with bigger threats or hard to kill leaders like Enel. Next, we got Red Purple Luffy, and he's going right here next to Law. I'm going to put him above, though, because I think that Red Purple Luffy just has that instant, just a little bit better factor because he's 6k. He has access to Diable Jambe, which is a very strong card, a couple Straw Hat cards. Yeah, just a little bit better card pool, maybe. I think this leader just is a little bit stronger. Next, we have Kid, and I'm going to put this in Rogue as well, probably right here next to these other guys. I think this leader is very fun. There's some cool cards you can play with this leader, and I do enjoy messing around with it, but it's just not that strong. Having to get down to 3 life before your leader becomes a 5k is kind of tough, but it does have access to cool cards. And then here we go into the OP05 leaders. First, I'm going to do this Blue Monkey D. Luffy promo, and I'm going to put this at the back end of Rogue as well. Maybe even scrub out. I don't know. This leader's not amazing. The promo cards for it are not amazing. They're funny, they're cool, but they're also very expensive. If you have all of them, then you paid a lot of money for them, and it's very unlikely you have play sets of them. But I just don't think it's that great. If you're going to play blue, I recommend Croc. Next, we got, like I said, the OP05 leaders, and we're going to start off with Sabo, and I'm going to put Sabo... I want to put him in tier 2 so bad, but I know in my heart that Sabo is Rogue. Like I said, the red-black synergy just isn't there. This leader is very strong, and I think it has a great effect. Some of the Rev Army cards are very strong. Some of the black cards you can play in this deck are very strong. However, there's just not that great synergy there, and I think that's just what this leader is lacking. Next, we have Corazon, Rosinante, whatever you want to call him, and I'm going to put this in Rogue as well. Maybe like right here. I think that this color combo is really cool. I talked about it with Sanji a little bit, but with this leader effect, this leader being a blocker, you could do some goofy shit with this leader. If you haven't checked out my Let Me Cook video, definitely go check that out. I have a link above my head for that. But basically playing Kid Control and then dropping 10-drop Dofis is hilarious, and being able to protect your searchers with your leader effect and stuff like that, I just think it's great. I think it's a very fun deck to play, and you can definitely catch people off guard. Next, we have Bello Betty, and I'm going to be putting this into tier 2, maybe right here next to Law, because I think that Betty is very cool, very fast-paced, very fun, and can definitely steal a win if you don't play against it right. You know, I think that it just runs through its resources a little too fast, and yeah, I feel like if they get the right luck and the right triggers out of life, they'll definitely catch you off guard. But that pumping all your dudes by 3k, that effect is crazy. And then here we have the big dogs, and I'm just gonna throw them all up here one by one because they all go in this top slot, and it's got me kind of reconsidering some of these other leaders. Like, do any of these other ones deserve to be in tier 1? And I'm not so sure if they do or not. Like, my thoughts is maybe Law does, because Law is very competitive and fast paced and stuff. Newgate kind of just doesn't have a good game against some of these, and Katakuri, same thing, just doesn't have too great against some of these. But these are the big 3, and mostly because people want to play them. They're very strong, but they can be beaten. You know, we've seen Enel been taking down the bigger tournaments as of lately, but I do foresee Sakazuki doing some more, and Purple Luffy as well. I believe that Purple Luffy is still just a very strong leader, and it just can have a hard matchup with Enel and Sakazuki at times. But I feel like it's kind of a triangle. Like, they can all have hard matchups against each other. Sakazuki being, in my opinion, the most, I want to say the strongest and most consistent. But Enel is strong simply because it's hard to kill. You know, if this leader effect was only once every 2 turns or once per game, like, this leader would not be great. But the fact that you can do it once per opponent's turn and then just next turn heal 1 back, that's just ridiculous. Like, Yamato, Katakuri, stuff like that just makes this leader really, really strong. And then Purple Luffy being able to ramp so fast, like I was talking about with Kaido, it's built in island and you get card advantage because you're taking your life as well. This leader is very, very strong, and you can drop some big bodies very early in the game and get some insane advantage built over your opponent. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, y'all. This is going to be my OP05 tier list. I think this is going to how I'm going to keep it. I think that some of these other leaders could sneak their way back up into tier 1, but for now, I'm going to keep it up here with these 3 big dogs. And let me know what you have to think down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'd love to hear it. And make sure to hop in my Discord if you're not in there already. I'll have a link to that in the description below where we can talk more about One Piece content. And if you're new here, definitely make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out. And make sure to go check out Dueling Guard and use code GumGumTCG for a discount at checkout. And with that, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.